Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. What if I was to tell you that all of a sudden, and the keywords are all of a sudden, the Ukrainians liberated 50% of their territory that occupied by the Russians? Would you believe me? Well, probably you're going to have some questions because 50% is kind of fast for one day, don't you think? Why do I say one day? It's because the other day, which was yesterday, all the Western media and all these weasels were telling us that the Ukrainian counteroffensive is barely going there, and Now we have this guy who wants us to believe him, and that Ukraine almost liberated 50% of the territory that was occupied by Russia. Well, I don't know what happened, but maybe Blinken, this is the guy I'm talking about, will tell us some magic here. So I have this article coming from The Hill, and it's from today, the 23rd of July 2023. Blinken says Ukraine has already retaken 50% of occupied territory. So let me show you this little thing here. It's true that this is from the 21st. The weasels in Russia did not update it. But you see, this is where they were for some time, which is about, I don't know, 10 months or so, if not more. Now, half of this occupied territory, that means they would be somewhere around here. If I go like this, or cut this in two, and you take the whole thing, whole chunk. Oh, my bad. We get Sevastopol and Crimea as well. So it would be something like this. The whole this was liberated in, according to the map, maybe in one day. Or as I said, coming like this, this kind of section, and then you have half of Crimea. Do you believe it? I don't believe shit. Just so you know. But anyway, let's see. Maybe Blinken tells us something we don't know. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said Sunday, today, that Ukraine has already retaken about 50% of the territory seized by Russia, and that the counteroffensive is still in its relatively early days. I don't know, this is like you have your wife or your husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, and yesterday this person comes and tells you, Gigi, I love you. And you say, okay, well, I love you too. And then he or she comes today and say, I hate you. I don't love you anymore. And you're like, what the have I done since yesterday today? How is it possible? Hey, baby doll, just a second. How? I mean, yesterday you love me and today you hate me. You don't love me anymore. How is this possible? What did I do in the meantime? I know it's been, 12 hours or so. What did I do? What happened? What maybe on your side? So the same here. What the hell might have happened that I've never heard? Did you hear anything? I read the mass media, left, right, up and down, straight forward. And from all the weasels that are to talk about the Ukrainian war, didn't hear anything today, didn't hear anything this morning. This morning was the same thing. The Russians bombarded Odessa, nothing with Ukrainians. Now we find out these guys liberated almost half of it. Almost, I would say 49%. Right? 48%? How much is almost 50%? So let's see. What aces he's got in his ass here, Mr. Blinken. And I'm quoting, in terms of what Russia sought to achieve, what Putin sought to achieve, they already failed. They already lost. Hey, this guy lives under that ideology that if you feel like you are a piece of box, you are a piece of box. Well, it's not so, Blinken. If I say today that I am an iPad, guess what? I identify as an iPad. It doesn't mean I'm an iPad. I mean, that's unreal. So just because this guy says they lost, it doesn't mean that they really lost. Let's look at the facts. And I'm going to look over the facts. Maybe he's going to provide us with some evidence that we are really unaware of. The objective was, okay, tell me, baby doll, to erase Ukraine from the map. That's a lie, right? To eliminate its independence, its sovereignty, to subsum it into Russia. I don't think so. I don't think so. That failed a long time ago. Blinken told CNN, this guy, okay, Zachariah maybe, in an interview on GPS. Oh, yeah. So, you see, he says what the objectives were. Even though the Russians never said anything like that. But anyway, they know better. It's like you tell me, or let's say my wife tells me, or someone, a friend of mine says, you know what, I'm hungry. I say, no, you're not hungry actually. You are not hungry, you're well fed, you should not be hungry. I tell you what's with you, but I'm hungry. Then I tell you what's wrong with you. You. So these guys are telling us what the Russians actually want. Why should I believe Blinken? What kind of authority Blinken has? Moral authority, intellectual authority, manhood authority. What do you want me to? He just has a position over there appointed by someone else who I don't think is all there. But nevertheless, that's all he's got. All right? I don't give Blinken any moral, intellectual, or authority. Got that? Unless he provides evidence that I should say, yeah, he's an intelligent guy. Didn't prove it yet, to me at least. Yes, he's a moral guy. Didn't prove it to me. So anyway, maybe it proved it to you. I would like you to share me how he proved that to you. Not by saying that tomorrow is Monday. That's not proof, okay? That's normal. Give me something intelligent about it. So nevertheless, he tells us what the Russians try to achieve. Okay, maybe. But we're going to go back to that. Let me see what else this guy says. Blinken projected optimism about Ukraine's prospects in the counteroffensive attack, which is launched after months of preparation to retake land that Russia seized. While the counteroffensive started off strong, like what? Ukraine progress has slowed as it has quickly gone through its munitions and has, okay, the Russians have put in a long strong, okay, I want to see where the hell in this is the evidence that he talks, but it will not play out over the next week or two. We're still looking, I think, of several months. Where is the evidence? I would like to see here the evidence on the map or something that these guys took half of it, because I'm not talking weasel here, I'm talking about reality. This is what he said. Ukraine has already retaken 50% of occupied territory. That's a lie. Hey, the hill. That's a lie. Anyway, let me tell you what the Russians said, and you probably know. That's 4 points. 1, demilitarization. That means they considered NATO going into Ukraine, which they're almost there. It's as a threat to their national security. Like United States will feel the same way if the Russians will do the same thing in Cuba or Nicaragua or Mexico. Beyond any reasonable doubt, that would be a national security threat. 100%. But anyway, this guy said, no, you should not. So, demilitarization, that means you should not be able to kick us in the teeth. Not Ukraine. Through Ukraine, you guys. Second, denazification. The Russians claim that before, if you remember, February 24, 2022, the mass media in the West were saying that, hey, in the Ukrainian military and in some, there's some Nazi ideology infiltrated and so on. They were saying it after February 24th, when the Russians invaded last year unprovoked. That ceased. They don't call them anymore Nazi, they call them nationalists. Nationalist now all of a sudden is not a bad thing for the Ukrainians, but for the Americans, nationalist is a bad thing. If you say I'm a nationalist, that's a bad thing here. To love your nation is something bad, it seems like. But over there, no, it's not. It's okay. They just love their nation. Denazification, demilitarization. No NATO. That means no troops over there, like you have them everywhere, to defend the eastern front of NATO. No NATO. Why? Because it's a threat to our national security. No, we are not going to allow that. Do whatever you want, we're going to have a war. That's what they have. And the other one is the recognition of the territories that voted in referenda to to become independent out of those guys who, in 2014, took power through a military coup in Ukraine with the help of outside forces and recognized by the democratic and freedom-loving countries from the West, because they were well, so just a second, this guy, if the Russians wanted to incorporate that, I don't think they had any problem to reincorporate that. And think about that. Do you care about those guys' national interest? No. Then there you have it. That's exactly what the Russians said. You don't care about it, we care, and we're not going to wait for you to tell us what we're allowed to do with our national interest. Because if we're going to deploy, let's say, military, as I said, in countries around United States, for good reason, the United States will have a fit. They will start a war. Unprovoked. Will it be unprovoked? No, it's not going to be unprovoked. They will say, not provoked, you threaten us. But these guys cannot use the same thing. So Blinken is lying not only with what Russia really wants, first, and the second, and it's more than that. I mean, the West doesn't want to care about Ukraine. Not even that. They care about Russia, and then Russia, China, and then this beautiful world that will turn it in a peaceful, beautiful plantation for us to enjoy. All right? Because look around and see how great it is. It is great, but it's going down. It used to be greater, and greater, and now it's going down, down. But anyway, it goes to a little, perversity. So Blinken did not provide any evidence to support his claim. It's like I tell you that I went to the moon last night and I was back today. And you say, yeah, I mean, we believe you because, you have a brown hair or something. Obviously, for good reason, say, well, yeah. What's your evidence, weasel? And I would say, the evidence is, I say so. And I can fly, but only when you close your eyes, I fly. Because you can't see me then. Obviously. All right, so this is Blinken. This is the Secretary of State of the United States of America. This is the guy who's supposed to be the diplomat. The guy who uses diplomacy. Knows how to speak with people, with his counterparts, with diplomats, has a knowledge of geography, of history, geopolitics, philosophy, psychology, human psychology, obviously, mass psychology. This guy is like a very intelligent person. Might be, he didn't prove it to me yet. He's got all kind of diplomas, but hey, if we go to diplomas, I met a lot of people with diplomas. Hey, by the way, Obama has a diploma from Harvard. Hey, George W. Bush has a diploma from Harvard and from Yale. Michelle Obama has a diploma, I think, from Harvard as well. Good job. 3 examples. For me, a little bit below average. That's how I see them. They never impressed me with anything they said. On their own, not what they read on those teleprompters. And I'm not talking about Michelle. Michelle proved some other characteristics directed towards a certain kind of group. And that's very dangerous. But anyway, the other one did what the script said. And the other one was, let me be sure about this. Let me be clear. Let me be clear about this. Say something. He's very articulated. I don't want to be articulated. As you can tell, I'm not articulated, but I tell the truth, or I tell the things as they appear to be. The way I see them, I tell them to you. These guys, I don't want to be articulated. I want you to tell me the truth. Straight, plain truth, straight to my face. I can take it. I'm not going to be, my pussy hurts. I'm going to go now to a safe space. You do that. Anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.